Ladies and gentlemen, let's speak about Westmalle Brewery.
Yes.
The full name of the Abbey is the Abbey of Our Lady of the Holy Heart of Westmalle.
That's correct.
The community was founded in 1794.
Yes.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. The monks came, basically they wanted to go to Canada.
Yeah?
After the French Revolution, but they get stuck in Antwerp. So the Bishop of Antwerp gave them a small farm in Westmalle, and well, they stayed there. So for over 200 years, they're now in Westmalle.
Come on. And the Abbey status was granted in 1836.
Yes.
So it's like almost 200 years.
Almost 200 years.
Exactly. And the monks of this order are commonly known as Trappists.
Yes.
It's a very important word. I come prepared. I've come prepared. I have a triple here. And a few months ago, on my blog, on Facebook, I've posted some photos of Belgian beer.
Yes.
Because I wanted to make Belgian beer great again. But do we have to do it? I think Belgian beer is great.
It always was great.
Exactly.
So you don't have to make it great again. It always was great. But yeah, you have Trappist, and it's easy because normally their official name is Cisterciensers of the Strict Observance. But that's quite a difficult name. So, and they were founded in the Abbey of La Trappe in France, in Normandy. So, but Trappist was easier for the people, so that's why they call Trappist.
Exactly. Who knows what is a Trappist product? 1, 2. Anybody else? Come on.
Just two.
As you see, not many people know what is a Trappist product. So, a Trappist beer is different from the Abbey beer. That's one difference. The word Trappist has legal protection and may only be used for beers that meet 3 criteria.
That's right.
1. The beer is brewed within the walls of a Trappist abbey, either by the monks themselves or under their supervision.
Under their supervision.
Westmalle, how does it look in Westmalle?
Well, in Westmalle, the monks, they don't work in the brewery anymore because they stopped working in the brewery in 87 because the majority of the monks was getting too old. And a modern firm, the requirements did not go well with their monastic life. But they keep supervision. They come on a daily basis. They are in the brewery. So like our friar, our abbot, he comes on a daily basis in the brewery. So they are still there, but well, they have to go to church at 10 o'clock. So before 87, from 10 till 10:30, nobody picked up the phone.
But they have a full supervision on the brewing process.
Yes.
Exactly. We'll come back to the brewing process a bit later. The second criteria to get the Trappist product is the brewery is of secondary importance. It's not the main importance in the Trappist beer. It follows not to a business culture that is in keeping with the monastic project. So it's like this, the brewery is on the second place.
The first thing, they are monks. They always say, when you talk to them, they always say, we brew to live, we don't live to brew. So for them, it's a means to sustain the abbey, to sustain the charity they do, because that's the third point. You have to give at least 1/3 of your revenues to charity.
Exactly, and that's the third criteria. The brewery does not aim to make a profit. Its revenues contribute to the monks' subsistence and go towards maintaining the abbey and its grounds. Part of the proceeds goes to charity, social projects, and disadvantaged people.
Yes.
Great story.
But it's something the monks don't really want to. Well, they're not going to make a publicity about it. It's the greatest publicity you have, because every Trappist beer you drink, you will support people who in need. You will support hospitals, orphanages. So it's a great thing, but Well, the monks, they said, well, nobody has to know it, but indeed it's a requirement to wear the ATP logo, which is the Trappist logo.
Exactly. So let's focus now on Westmalle Brewery. You represent the Truyen family.
Yes.
Your name, like Bart Truyen.
Sorry?
Your name is Bart Truyen.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Truyen family is truly bonded with Westmalle for about 100 years.
That's correct.
Exactly.
For over 100 years even.
It's almost a century, come on.
Yeah, I'm the 5th generation. So my great-grandfather, he started working with the monks, and we are officially a distributor of the Westmalle beer since 1922. That's this year, 100 years.
Exactly. So how does it feel to be a part of the Abbey, of the Westmalle family?
I was born into it. When I was a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, that's what my first visit to the brewery. So I came there with my grandfather. So I know the way the monks think, because I've always known monks. But for some people it's a bit strange. But I like working with them. They're very relaxed. I like the way they think. It's not like a commercial brewery. Basically sometimes we have to slow down because there's not enough beer. And the monks, they say, we make this beer, when it's finished, it's finished. They are not interested in growing. So very strange, but I want to sell as much beer as possible.
They don't make it for a profit. We said it before, so that's a great philosophy. So when it's done, it's done.
Yeah. So they say, okay, we make the beer. When it's finished, it's finished. Sorry.
That's a great story. The thing, when I was getting interest into Belgian beer and into Trappist beer, I always have this question on my mind. Do you have to be a monk in a Trappist brewery to have the access to the Trappist beer recipes?
No.
Is it a secret of some kind?
Well, it's not a secret. We only use 5 ingredients. We have the main ingredient, which is water.
Water, yeah.
Then we have some barley malt. Then we add some hops, some sugar, and some yeast. That's it.
But the proportion that you use, is it a secret? Does the monks supervise the process? I suppose some guys who work at the brewery knows the proportions, but is it a secret?
Yeah, but it's not a real secret, but you're not going to know it. It's not like you won't find a recipe on the internet.
Yeah, and that is the question. Is it guarded, or the monks they don't want to share those recipes with other guys?
No, but I think any brew engineer can easily find the recipe. But the main ingredient that makes the taste so special is the yeast.
Exactly, and I wanted to ask you, what makes Westmalle beer special?
It's the yeast. The yeast and the water. The water, they use their own well water. It's pumped up from about 60 to 70 meters depth. And it's the water and the yeast, because the hops, we use mostly German and Czech hops, a blend. That is a secret. Which is the blend? Nobody knows. That's the main secret.
Okay.
And of course the Westmalle yeast. It's the yeast that gives the typical taste of the Westmalle.
Okay. The Westmalle brewery is a brewery which makes only 3 types of beer.
Yes, we only make 3 types of beer.
Triple, double, and extra.
And the extra.
Exactly. It's not the beer I want to focus on, but the process of brewing. I suppose for me and all those people around here, the main thing that is interesting is how a normal day in a brewery looks like, how the routine of brewing looks like in a typical Trappist brewery like Westmalle.
Okay, so basically the brewmaster, it's all automatic now because we have a new brew theater since 4 years. It's all automatic, but we start brewing at 6:30 in the morning. And then we get the water, we make the mash. So it's water, malt for about 90 minutes. Then it's filtered, goes into the boiling kettle. where we add manually the hops. That also takes about 90 minutes. And then we filter the beer, and then it goes to the lagering. So basically, we can make a brew of 20,000 liters in approximately 3 to 4 hours. So we make 2 brews a day. So that's like 40,000 liters a day. And we don't work in shifts, so it's just, they start in the morning, they make 2 brews a day, that's it.
It's a great day.
Yeah, because the monks find it very important for the people who work there that they're home in time to spend time with their family. So it's very important for them that everybody's home at 5.
That's great. But you told that at this time, most of the process is automatic.
Yes, it's fully automated now.
It's fully automatic, okay. So how did it look historically? Like 50 years ago?
50 years ago, that's the old brew kettle you see over there. So then everything was, they started brewing, we heated up the mash with steam. And then it goes, we manually added the sugar and the hops. But our former brewmaster, Father Thomas, he started perfecting the beer because 50 years ago there was some problems with the quality, not always, but the beer was not always the same. And Brother Thomas, he made it that the quality is always the same. That's basically the main strength of the Westmalle. We have always a high quality, always top quality. That's what their main goal is.
Great. The Westmalle, guys, Westmalle tradition date back almost 200 years.
Yes.
Back. As I said, the guys brew only 3 styles, 3 types of beer within the abbey. So why is the brewery so attached to only those 3 styles? Why don't you make more styles? Like La Trappe, the guys...
Yeah, I know.
They
make more styles.
More styles.
Yeah.
But Westmalle, you brew only 3 types. As I said, double, triple, and extra.
Yes, that's the only 3.
Why are Westmalle so attached to only those 3 styles?
It took us, with the commercial team, about 15 years to convince the monks to sell the 3rd beer. Because they only wanted to sell 2 beers. That's enough. They said, we don't need to sell more. So it's kind of strange working with them sometimes. But after 15 years, we finally got the permission to sell the 3rd beer. And our brewmaster, he developed the 4th beer. But they don't brew it because they don't have the capacity.
Okay, but you have the abilities to brew the 4th style, okay?
Yeah, we could make it.
But so the monks are so attached to only, let's make only 2, 3 types. They not interested to make more beer? Different styles?
No, they don't want to make more beer. For them to have the highest quality possible. So if we can improve the quality, they will do it. But they're like, okay, we got these great beers. We've got 3 great beers. That's enough. We don't need a sour style or any other style, a bock style. Or for them, that's enough. The 3 beers, that's what they drink. They drink it themselves, the extra.
Of course.
Mainly water, but extra they drink also. And on holidays, they drink a triple.
Oh, a special beer, stronger,
yeah,
more intense in taste. But how does the beer revolution interfere with Westmalle? Because I suppose you've visited a couple of breweries here.
Yeah.
You've tasted some great beer around.
Yes.
So the styles you can taste are many. So how does this beer revolution scene, so many styles interfere with Westmalle tradition?
For them, it's no interference. They welcome it. They say, okay, when people drink beer, there can be like 1,000 styles. We have our style, but you can have another style. It's okay, but they won't. For example, I know the IPAs are quite popular here in Scandinavia as well, but for them, the IPA it's too hoppy. But every beer has a right to exist. So even the real sweet ones, or for them it's okay. It's good to have a wide variety. But they say, okay, we make this beer, that's good enough for us. And we hope that everybody's successful. Everybody can live and everybody can make a living. That's for them important.
Okay. So how would you encourage an ordinary beer geek? I suppose those guys who are listening to us are... Who's a beer geek?
Yeah, I guess over here there are some beer drinkers, no?
Yeah? So how would you encourage them to take a taste of a Trappist beer?
Well, I think if you're a beer drinker, you have to try everything. So also Trappist beer, but also fruit beer, some IPAs. You have to develop your own taste. I don't know what's the best taste. It's different for everybody. I prefer Westmalle, but I also like a La Trappe or a Rochefort. I like Trappist beers, but if you prefer IPAs, hey, that's fine. Everybody's got his own style. Everybody's got his own taste. So I can't decide which is the best. You have to taste it, try it yourself.
Yeah, you're right, but what are the main tastes, smells of a Trappist beer that you love the most?
Well, if you take, for example, the Westmalle Triple, it's got this very strange, there's no banana in it, and still you'll taste and smell banana.
Exactly.
I always thought, how the hell did they do that? Nobody ever knows. Nobody knows, not even the monks. They said, it's like that. Of course, it's the yeast.
It's the yeast. Exactly.
But there's no banana in the yeast as well. So very strange, but if you like banana, you have to try the triple.
So, do you recommend the triple as the best Westmalle beer?
The best Westmalle beer, well, depends. In the morning, I prefer the extra. In the afternoon, the double, and late at night, I'll drink a triple.
Okay, so you divide those three styles on time on the day. Okay, the Westmalle Extra.
Yeah.
It's a really light beer.
Yes.
So you recommend it on the morning to drink it on the morning,
or at noon. So it's a light beer. It's a great beer to drink when it's sunny outside. You're on a terrace. You have with some friends. It's light. It's refreshing, and it's not that heavy in alcohol. So. In Belgium, you're not allowed to drive and drink and drive. But if you drink...
In Poland, you're not allowed to drink and drive also.
Yeah, so I think... But with one extra, maybe two, you still can drive a car. If you drink two triples and the police will stop you...
Oh, man,
I'm sorry.
I think you'll drink one triple and you're not allowed to drive a car. It's like a... yeah. About the name, Extra. It's like a light beer, but the word extra is telling me, I thought it myself, that it would be like the strongest beer for all those three. So we have the double, triple, extra. But the extra is like extra low.
Yeah, it's extra low. But basically, it's the oldest beer. Because they make that beer already for over 150 years. And they sold it. They used to sell it right up until the Second World War. And the Second World War, after the Second World War, they started selling more triple. But they always used, and the name was Extra. I don't know how it came. 150 years ago, it was Extra. I can even have an invoice from 1922 to show you we bought Extra.
Awesome. And that's the history. That's the tradition of Westmalle, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
It is a great tradition. And I hope... Because for the moment we have 30 plus monks, and the youngest is like 32 years old. So okay, we're good for another 50 years at least, I think. But of course, when there are no monks anymore, there won't be any Trappist beers anymore.
Oh, I hope that the day would never come. I hope that we will always have a Trappist beer, that the monks will be there for us, and they will supervise or brew a great beer.
Yeah, they make great beer, and I hope they can continue to make great beer for another 200 years.
And I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. But today you're on the Warsaw Beer Festival.
Yes, great to be here.
I suppose. How do you like it? How do you find Warsaw Beer Festival?
It's a great venue, quite a lot of people, and it's great. You can sit outside. It's good weather, so it's perfect. A lot of beers, a lot of craft beers. I always like that. You have a great variety, and you have a great crowd. So yeah, it's nice to be here.
So let's focus on beer. What was the best beer you've tried today, yesterday?
That's a difficult question.
I know.
Yeah, but I think you're gonna know the answer as well. It's the same. The best beer I drank, it's gonna be the Westmalle Triple.
So you're really bonded to tradition and the Westmalle.
It's the mother of all triple. It's the first triple ever made. So
okay, but beside Westmalle Triple, how do you find beer here in Poland? How do you find the craft brewers from all around Poland? Did you try something special?
Yeah, some have very interesting beers. Some of the IPAs are really nice. Can't remember all the names, of course, but there are some really good craft beers here. So not all of them, but maybe that's just because I don't like the taste of it all the time. But there are some very nice beers as well. So I remember one over there that had a great beer, but don't remember the name. Sorry.
Okay, that's not the problem. I suppose you like them. It's really okay here.
Yeah, it depends on the taste. I mean, I see now hemp and brew. Well, I'm gonna try that one later on, I think.
Yeah, you have to. The beer with the CBD oils.
I don't know.
Those guys from Browar Tarnobrzeg, Hemp and Brew, Pinta Brewery,
I'm not going to try all of them tonight. I will try some, but not all of them.
You have to. Thank you for the talk. Thank you for the
You're
chat.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bart Schuyen, give him a big of an applause!
Thank you.
Give him a big round of applause, Mr. Fons Papen! Hello, Fons.
Hi.
Have a seat.
This one's for you.
Oh, man,
To start
thank
with,
you.
a nice, very good Grand Cru from Rodenbach.
Rodenbach, I really like those beers. I've tried Alexander yesterday.
Yeah, with the cherries.
Yes. Oh, man, it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's 100% Fudo beer.
Exactly.
With cherries in it, blended with cherries.
It was great. Thank you for the gift. You have to, guys, try it. This is Rodenbach Grand Cru.
Grand Cru, yeah.
Aged in oak forest, of course. And it's a bit of a different approach to a Belgian brewing. We spoke with Bart about the classic beers like Double, Triple.
Yeah.
We'll speak about it because you represent also La Trappe.
I work for La Trappe, but I represent.
But you also represent Rodenbach. So first let's focus on Rodenbach because it's a slightly different approach to a Belgian brewing. It's not a malty beer, it's like more sour. Also the yeasts are the main...
Yeah, exactly. It's a Flanders brown ale, they call it. And they mature the beer in Fudos. I'm not sure if we. I sent some pictures.
I hope. Guys, Fodders, it's a really big cask, big wooden cask.
Yeah.
It contains. It's not a barrel. It's not small, but it's.
No, it's really big.
It's really big.
It's
like
really
it,
big. Yeah.
It contains like 5,000 liters of
around
beer.
5,000 liters of beer. And at Rodenbach they have 294 Fudos in their brewery. So it's, but not all Fudos are filled with beer. They also use other beers to put it in, because the cask has to be filled with beer because of the bacteria. It's in the beer, so it still has to be alive. So the bacteria of each Fudo is different. So each Grand Cru or vintage, so 100% Fudo beer, tastes different. It's not always the same sourness or milk sourness in it.
Exactly, and you blend those Fuders together.
Yeah, they're blending Fuders. For example, classic is 1/4 of Fudo beer and 3/4 of young beer, so not matured beer. So they're blending it to get it always at the same taste for the classic, but for the vintage and Grand Cru, vintage especially, they use one foeder, and that's the best foeder of that year. After 2 years of maturing the beer, and then we'll put it in a very nice. And we still have, I think, 1 bottle of vintage over there.
So guys, there's an open bottle there of
at the Belgian flag, you can see over there.
You can see it as a Belgian flag. So get there, grab yourself this beer because it is only 1 bottle here. Yeah?
I think there's still only, maybe it's already gone, but we have a couple of bottles of Grand Cru still, and we have classic from draft at the moment.
Great.
Yeah.
And the approach to the Rodenbach family beer is slightly different, but Fons, you represent always also La Trappe brewery, which is in the Swinkels family portfolio. The Swinkels family have some couple of breweries.
Yeah, the Swinkels family brews has at the moment 5 to 6 breweries, but the Trappist, La Trappe, is still owned by the monks. We have a very near cooperation together with Swinkels, but the owner of La Trappe are still our monks.
Exactly, and also those guys in their portfolio have breweries like De Molen, Ultje. I spell it right.
Ultje.
So you know it's a
and Palm.
It's a new wave brewery. So how do you combine in the Swinkels family the tradition and the approach to the tradition and the new wave brewery?
Well, in my opinion, it's a very good portfolio that Swinkels have. If you go into a customer, you can fill completely the customer. You can fill the customer with Trappist beer, but also with Belgium-style beers like Rodenbach, Palm, Cornet. And Ultje is a new wave beer, and they didn't have an IPA brewery. Yeah, they had the Molen, but not an IPA brewery on cans. And Ultje is only working IPA, fresh IPA on cans. And the Molen is more barrel-aged beers.
Exactly.
Imperial stouts, barley wines, my kind of beers.
And La Trappe, or should I say, the Koningshaven brewery, because that's a great history. As you can see, the logo is La Trappe, but the brewery is not named La Trappe. It's the Koningshaven brewery.
It's a Koningshaven brewery. Yeah.
It's a Dutch Trappist abbey, founded in 1884.
Yeah.
And
around 8 beers in our portfolio.
A bit of a different approach than Westmalle.
Yeah.
They have 3, you have 8.
We have 8, we have 1 seasonal, a typical Dutch beer, the Bock beer, but it's also similar as the German style Bock beer.
Exactly. But also you have in your portfolio the Rodenbach brewery. So, as I said to you, slightly different approach to Belgian brewing. So, what would you recommend? What approach?
What approach?
The Rodenbach approach?
I think.
Or
the
La Trappe approach?
Now I'm going to preach for my own church, of course. But also the ambassador of Belgium is here, together with his wife. Thanks for coming. So I also have to be careful what I'm saying about the Belgian beers.
Sorry for the tricky question. That's what I'm here for.
There are 2 completely different approaches. And of course, a Trappist brewery with the 3 rules and charity in it. It's a very nice and good approach. But for the Belgian beer culture, the approach of Rodenbach is one of the... Michael Jackson called Rodenbach the cathedral of beers. And I think a lot of people know Michael Jackson already. Not the singer, but
we are not speaking about the singer Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, the beer traveler.
Yeah, the beer traveler.
Exactly.
And he brought the Belgian beers back to the attention again. So it's classical beer styles are Belgian beer styles, and La Trappe also brews mostly Belgian beer styles. We are a Dutch brewery with Belgian beer styles.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Bart about the access to the recipes in La Trappe. Do you have to be among those? Are those recipes a secret?
The ingredients are not a secret because they are on the bottle.
Of course.
But the biggest, and what also Bart told, the biggest secret is the yeast. I always compare it a little bit with Coca-Cola. There is one thing in Coca-Cola nobody knows, so nobody can make it exactly the same. And it's with our beers. Most of the beers is the yeast is the most, secret.
It's the secret. The yeast are the secret.
It's in a vault at La Trappe, and we use 2 yeast strings.
For all 8 beers.
For all 8 beers, we use 2 yeast strings. For our pure, 100% biological, and our wit, we use 1 beer string. And for the rest, we're using the other one.
Okay. So how does the normal routine in a brewery looks like?
They start at 6 in the morning. Exactly what Bart also saying, brewing. All 10 hours in a brewery are almost on each and every brewery the same. We also brew completely automatically. But the 10 hours are the first 10 hours are at most of the breweries the same. And then the big difference came between high fermentation and bottle fermentation. It's cooling down the beer. So we are cooling down the beer till around 25 degrees. So we are a top fermented brewery. And then after lagering and all those things, 3 weeks, we put in, it goes into the bottle line. We put in some extra sugar, only in bottle, put on a cap, and then it goes into a warm room for 2 weeks for the second fermentation.
Is this routine the same in Rodenbach brewery?
No, it's completely different. They brewing another beer. Good question. But I'm working for the Trappe, so don't get me too. But they brew a young beer, and then most of the young beer goes into those foeders. And they not filter it, but they use sort of centrifuge.
Yeah.
So to get out of the big parts. And then they put it in foeders for 2 years, and the young beer, and then they're gonna blend.
They mix it. So as I suppose you're not the brewery crew is not working on shifts.
Our brew, we have 2 shifts.
Okay, you have 2 shifts.
Yeah, but we produce less than Westmalle.
In La Trappe, the monks working. Are monks working in La Trappe, or only supervising?
Only supervising, but they are working at our cheese factory, for example, and in our gift shop. There still works our monks working over there.
Okay.
And we only have 15 monks.
15?
15, 1-5.
15 monks. Okay. Also with Barb, we spoke about how does the beer revolution works on the brewery, on La Trappe brewery? How does it have an impact on the brewery?
I think yes, and I think it's a positive impact because people want to try different stuff. So a lot of these breweries are working with IPA, imperial stouts, but they are opening the market also for us. So within the last 12 to 10 years, the beer hype went bigger and bigger. It's not a hype anymore. It's the beer market get bigger and bigger, and we also profit from that because a lot of people try different stuff, but they also want to try the Belgium style beers again. So it's if they have enough IPA, they always want to go to something back to the classics.
I know. Wasn't it's tempting to brew an IPA in La Trappe.
No.
Why not?
Yeah.
Come on.
Maybe we can do a one-off. We did last year. We did a one-off together with Brewdog. So it was punk meet monks. It was a quadruple with Scottish meadow honey.
Come on, but this is a quadruple.
Yeah.
It's still a Belgian beer.
But we used the hops of Brewdog. So it was a little bit more bitter. It was not an IPA.
Okay, so how do you say it's my proposition? Let the beer revolution meet the monk, and you'll be brew an IPA in La Trappe with Belgian yeast. So it'll be a Belgian IPA.
I'm not going to promise anything, but you never know what's going to happen.
So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. It could be an interesting thing, I suppose, but La Trappe is also bonded to tradition.
Yeah. Yeah, we love traditions. And we started, of course, with the 4 Belgium-style beers. But we started 25 years, 15 years ago. We introduced, for example, Isidore. The brewery was existing 125 years. And we made a beer for the jubileum of the La Trappe. And it was Isidore. And it was called the first brewmaster of La Trappe. But it's still in our portfolio because it was a big success. So when it's a good success, the monks will decide that it's going to stay in.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Okay. Here in Poland, some people say that the Belgian beer is boring.
Yeah.
Some people say that. I don't agree with that. Because, as I said with Bar, I'd like to make Belgian beer great again. So, how would you encourage those guys who talk that Belgian beer is boring to drink Belgian beer and have fun of it?
I will say it's a safe haven to go back to, always. Belgian beers don't disappoint you, never, never. They are brewed with a lot of tradition, a lot of quality, and if you want to go for a... I'm not saying the rest of the beers are not good, but if you want to go into the safe haven, go back to the basic, please go back to the Belgian style beers. And maybe they say it's boring, but quality is never boring.
I think they say it's boring because they hadn't tried a great Belgian beer. That's one.
And they like hoppy, I think.
Exactly. I'm drinking La Trappe Triple at the moment. Great beer.
Yeah, and you know the founding father of Triple is, of course, Westmalle. So we are very happy that Westmalle made a triple, and we also can make a triple now.
Yeah, great one. Many esters, great profile, really fresh beer. So I would recommend that. And but I suppose you've also tried a couple of beers around here.
Yeah, for sure. There is in the back, I'm not sure what the name is again, with the round and the stripes and the dots.
Round and the stripes dots.
Complete in the back, in the corner. He's brewing a Belgian triple style.
Okay.
It was very good. And of course, Wojciech over there with his Baltic porter.
Browar Widawa.
Yeah, with the Baltic porter.
10th anniversary Baltic porter.
Oh.
Great one.
It was great. It was great. Yeah, I really love it.
I suppose you love the traditional beers. You were speaking about the Belgian beer over there, Baltic porter. But I'd like to ask you about the approach to new wave of the beer styles, like IPAs.
Yeah.
You love them? You don't love them? You prefer Belgian? You prefer styles, tradition?
It really depends on the season where you're in. During summertime, I really like a good New England IPA. It's fresh, it's fruitiness. But during wintertime, I like to have a quadruple or a dark beer, Belgium-style beer. So it really depends also on the weather, and it depends on the mood I'm in.
Okay.
So I'm always in a good mood, so it's always in the mood for drinking beer.
But what would you recommend to drink today from La Trappe Rodenbach?
Preaching again. I will go for now. I will try the Alexander of Rodenbach.
Alexander was great. I tried it yesterday and it was like awesome.
Yeah, it's 100% Fudo beer with fresh cherries in it. It's sourness with a little sweetness in it in the end.
So you recommend Rodenbach Alexander?
Yeah. Don't tell anybody at La Trappe, please.
Okay, we won't. We'll delete the recordings. Don't worry.
Okay.
Fons, thank you for the chat. It was a great pleasure.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Moi drodzy, was zapraszam oczywiście na stoisko belgijskich browarów. Rodenbach, Westmalle, La Trappe. Próbujcie belgijskich piw. Nie tylko IPą człowiek żyje. Bardzo ważne jest to, żeby kosztować wszystkiego. Belgia nie jest nudna, absolutnie, będę to zawsze powtarzał. To są piękne piwa, macie piękny przekrój, piękne podejście do różnych stylów piwa, tak? Mamy Rodenbacha, który jest dziki, który jest kwaśny, który jest pyszny. Mamy klasyczne piwa, czyli duble, triple, których możecie próbować, które są bardziej słodowe, mają przyjemny estrowy profil, mają swoją piękną złożoność, swoją lekkość. Próbujcie tych piw, cieszcie się tymi piwami i korzystajcie, że po prostu ekipa z Belgii tutaj przyjechała, jest dla was. W ogóle łapcie chłopaków, rozmawiajcie z nimi. Jak widzicie, naprawdę chętnie odpowiadają na wszelkie pytania i po prostu bawcie się dobrym piwem. Ja zachęcam was bardzo mocno do tego. Guys, Trevor, come out here on the stage. Thank you very much. Thank you, Funs. It's great. Give a big applause! Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Thanks. Thank you very much. Duże brawa! Jeszcze raz!